Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Wednesday Night Motorsport at the GSRC. We're a little bit late tonight. That pesky real life has got in the way of bringing you a Orbic Australia NASCAR broadcast, but we have managed to scramble together Joe Baldwin so that we could put on at least the Supercars for you guys tonight. And the Supercars, of course, is sponsored by Trophi.AI, and we'd like to thank them for allowing us to put on this broadcast tonight. And a big thank you to Joe for stepping in at the last minute to do the production side of the house so that we could be here tonight. So next time you're in the chat with Joe or you're on the circuit next to him, give him a few extra meters or just give him a thank you for allowing us to put this on. And as you can see by the layout of the track underneath us, we are at Watkins, Glen. How can you tell? That famous bootleg section was just in the bottom of your shot. And those of you that watch NASCAR will know that Watkins, Glen produces absolutely fantastic and often unpredictable racing with the NASCARs, and as they are a very similar profile car to the Supercars, I think we can be fairly confident in saying that we're going to have a rip-roaring race for you tonight. And here are the track conditions and a confirmation of the Watkins Glen layout that we will be using. And I mean, the long and short of it is, it's perfect conditions. As almost always at the GSRC, we did have the occasional bit of rain, but I don't see any real threat of rain. Tonight should be a nice dry run for our drivers, and let's face it, we're going to have plenty of chaos about that because we have an absolutely stacked field. Once again, 42 cars in the server split across our elite and our development splits. And they have just finished qualifying. So we'll get you the results for that when we can, but this is your championship standings heading into the second round. Sam Blacklock took a fantastic victory in round one, leading his Orbit Drop Bear Motorsport teammate Tyson Broad. And then with Ryan Campbell, a really strong podium position for him in the opener. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops tonight and who we've got in the field. I can see Sam Blacklock is in the session, but I do not believe he has got pole. I believe that has gone to Rick Kuznetsov, who's currently 5th in the championship, but looking like he might make a jump up if he can hold on to that tonight. And looking at the server, we also have a fairly even split between the Fords and the Chevrolets, with the top 3 all being Fords, but then the majority of the top 18 remaining being Chevrolets. And this is the confirmation of the starting grid for you. We've got Rick Kuznetsov on pole position with Sam Blacklock alongside him. Then we've got Green and Broad on the second row with Buchanan and Slade in close company. Then we've got Colangelo and Lawford on the 4th row with Dial and Brownlee at the back of the top 10. In 11th is Chadwick, not Jamie Chadwick, it is Simon Chadwick. And then we've got Marcus Watson alongside him in 12th. 13th and 14th belong to Kirby and Nicol respectively, with Fit and Mulder lining up behind them. The 9th row is Dyson and Campbell, and then Wood and Rogers make up the 10th. In 21st is Hankey with Golan alongside him. Then it is Bond and King in 23rd and 24th. Nomerson lines up in 25th with Azopardi alongside him. Naylor starts in 27th with Michael in 28th. Then Adam Lavis and Will Coxon make up the top 30. Behind them is Dale Sharp and Craig Ruffy, with Amos and Koch in 33rd and 34th. Snadden and Heaney line up on row 18, with Camo and Latta behind them, and then Ferraris and Dodgson making up the top 40. And apologies if I've just absolutely butchered that surname. Then in 41st is Watson, with Powell lining up last but not least in 42nd for Drop a Gear Motorsports. And maybe that explains why he lined up in last place, because if he dropped a gear, he would probably line up in last place. The bottom 4 drivers did not set lap times, so they may not take the start of this one as we watch the rest of the cars line up. So it looks like we're waiting for our pole sitter to take the grid, and just probably making sure that he's got his setup correct for the race. And at this point, the drivers will be getting a briefing from our live race control that we have functioning tonight, and that is currently being manned by Tim Watson, Sam Strine, Ben Woods, and Matt Smitke. So we've got an absolute smorgasbord of race controllers in there tonight. Plenty of eyes on every instant, and the lights are going on. We have 3 lights, 5 lights, and we are racing here at Watkins Glen, and it's an absolutely terrific start for Kuznetsov from pole, but Sam Blacklock has also got a decent one, and it is wet conditions. I did not pick that up. It's very, very thick back there with about 6 drivers all going side by side because of the amount of confidence going into the first corner is completely different from driver to driver. And there's definitely some drivers that are stuck on dry tires. I would hazard a guess. And look at the absolute chaos. Someone's just got absolutely T-boned coming out of the first corner. Yeah, some of those drivers are on dry tires and just not able to get around. You can see how slow some of the drivers are going as they just tiptoe in these absolutely treacherous conditions, barely able to get up the hill. It's such as the lack of grip. Anyone that gets around on dry tires into the pit lane has done an absolutely phenomenal job on this opening lap, but not as phenomenal a job as Sam Blacklock, who has taken the lead off the line from Rick Kuznetsov. It looked like a decent start from Kuznetsov, but evidently in the second phase just didn't pull away like Blacklock was able to, and he's already pulled a half-second lead, looking very comfortable in these conditions. He is our favourite pilot. Tyson Broad currently sits in third, so he's overtaken Jaden Green for that honour and would love to get up behind his teammate and repeat what we saw last week. But Rick doing a fantastic job to ensure that doesn't happen so far. Let's have a look and see if any of the drivers pull into pit lane as first up. Nobody towards the lead of this race, which is as expected. And you can see the top 30 all running on those wet tyres. So all of them have got the call right at the start. Not a surprise, because I suspect anyone with dry tyres will be right at the very back of this field. You can see how slippy that curb is. Anyone going on that curb, you can just see the back end starting to slide around as try and get the power down. I think you might want to just narrow that corner, stay off the curb, because it is looking very, very dangerous. And Tyson Broad looking dangerous here, and he's got Kuznetsov lined up in front of him as his target. And you can just see by the way he's moving around that he's very, very comfortable in these conditions right now. And I think Rick is going to go backwards sooner rather than later, unless he can find some extra speed.
Tell you what, there's one thing I'm certain of at the moment, Liam. I'm so glad I'm in the booth and not out there slipping around this place in a supercar on wet tyres. This is crazy.
It would be great fun as long as you switch your brain into the right mode, which is this is not about going as fast as you can. This is about being smooth and reducing risk, and you will pick up positions and seeing it as a fight against the track rather than a fight to go as fast as you can. If you try and go as fast as you can, if you're looking for time, you're almost certainly going to go for a crash in these conditions. Evidently some people not getting a great start and getting into the comments, and also just seeing what happened off the start line, a bit of chaos towards the back, which is to be expected with such a large field and these conditions and a really tricky first corner even in the dry. But since then things seem to have settled down and we seem to get into some okay racing, especially towards the front of this field.
I can't say I agree with Niels on wheels saying this is worse than the ARCA race. We're probably lucky that the ARCA wasn't broadcast tonight, to be honest, but less said about that one the better as we go through the bus stop here. And Rick Kuznetsov, he's got it all to do at the moment, and up the front, Sam Blacklock, he is just putting the wood to him. 3 seconds to the good of Rick Kuznetsov at the moment, and Tyson Broad, he's putting his signature all over the back of Rick Kuznetsov's car there, and he steps out, wants to have a bit of a look, try and pick his apex. It's very tricky conditions here. If we jump on board, you'll see exactly what I mean. Like, it's just the visibility. Here we go on Tyson. You get in behind. Doesn't look as bad here as Rick's had a bad run off that last corner. Tyson. He's ahead. No contact. Oh, up on the outside.
Yeah, look who that is. Winning this battle as well. That's Jaden Green getting involved in this fight and looking to try and mug Kuznetsov while he's there and not able to do so. But it might get Tyson Broad on the exit. He has to go up the hill. He's certainly got a better run, but it's not enough to quite get alongside, and that's going to be shut down by Broad. And Kuznetsov holds on to second place, but Blacklock, our favourite pilot, is absolutely flying out front, 4 seconds ahead of the pack, and just showing his class in these conditions. The only man in the 1:17s, everybody else in the 18s, 19s, 20s, 21st, or even the 24s, a bit further down the pack. Incredible pace from those out front as we watch Kirby going alongside Ryan Campbell. One of our podium finishes in round 1. He's got a bit of work to do if he wants to repeat that in round 2, but David Kirby giving him a good run there, and Campbell holds on to 11th spot.
Go back to the start. We'll have a look at what transpired on that opening lap there. It was a little bit of cut. Oh, so he's got onto the curb on the outside as Travis and just lost the rear and just concertinaed for the majority of the guys. So very
like
easily done.
Yeah, looked like only 2 mistakes. I don't think it was Travis. I think he was the innocent party in that. Somebody else spinning in front of him and ended up T-boning him. And then there was another car that looked like it did the same in the background. You know what? I suspect that would have happened in the dry as well.
Lockhart Brownlee just
going for a spin. I tell you what, everyone that has avoided him has done very, very well because he is horizontal at a bit of the track that you do not want to be horizontal at, and he's managed to pull himself into pit lane.
From a different camera view, he's hidden behind the sign there, so he's just throttled up. Just a bit too much throttle. Oh, I thought there might have been a bit of netcode contact there, but yeah, he's sort of got saved. Never got impaled by anybody, thankfully.
No, really good driving from everybody to avoid him. Everyone respecting the yellow flags there, which is really good to see because it's definitely not a strong suit of the average GSRC member, but something that we've been working to try and improve the behaviour as a club this season. I think it started as a push last season, and you can see Tyson Broad, he's managed to get past Kuznetsov, but he's not been able to pull away. So this is going to be a really good battle between the two of them for second place as we're watching move into first. Yeah, quite ambitious there, and really good driving there from Jaden Green. He thought the move was on, looked like he might be able to go up the inside, realised he couldn't, and pretty quickly scrubbed off speed to make sure he didn't go into Kuznetsov. I think that very easily could have been an accident door-to-door, but instead Green playing it really, really safe. So it's good to see that. And Blacklock's absolutely beautiful over those curbs. You can just see in the way that he's driving, look at that, keeping the car underneath him, keeping all the wheels pointing the same direction, mostly. A little bit of a twitch there. But that's gonna happen in these conditions. But compared to other drivers, I mean, we've cut to them a few times, but we've seen both Broad and Kuznetsov getting very, very sideways at times. But compared it to Blacklock here, and he's not playing funny lines either. He's staying mostly on the racing line. He's just keeping the car underneath him, being gentle on the throttle, and being really considered. And I think other drivers are doing that for part of that, but not as consistently. And that would be why Blacklock is a solid second, faster than the rest of the field. As we're watching Andrew Dyson behind him, Lawford and Colangelo having a duel. Colangelo going down the inside of Lawford and gets the move done on entry, but can he hold it through the corner? Can't quite see it. They're just out of shot. As they come back in shot, we can see the side-by-side. Going to go up the hill side-by-side. That'll be brave. There's not much grip on that racing line in the wet, so not surprised that Colangelo washed out a bit there and has ended up behind Lawford. It is a corner that you need to get off the racing line in these conditions because there is just absolutely zero grip. But Colangelo is going to have a go into the chicane. He pulls up alongside Lawford. No, backs out of it at the last minute, and Lawford retains the position. Behind him, we can see Craig Bond. He's currently sat in 13th place and up 10 positions. One of the biggest movers in the field, but not the biggest. That belongs to Dominic Ferraris. Apologies if that is Ferraris. Please correct my pronunciation in a private chat after this broadcast. But he is up 20 positions from 39th to 19th, which is solid work in 8 laps. Which is about 2.5 positions a lap. So he's doing all right, steering all right, living up to his namesake.
Dane's another solid one has come up through the field. He's up 12 in the 23rd at the moment. Ashley Dodgson, he's up from 40th to 29th. So he's a pretty good mover. But if you talk like up in the top area at the moment, Andrew Dyson, he's currently sitting in 8th. He's up 9 from his starting position. So he's having a good run, and Rain Campbell and Craig Bond, they're sort of your biggest movers back through the field. But Ferraris up 20 spots, that's a solid effort.
It is a solid effort, and this battle pack that you're seeing on screen now, it starts with Jake Slide at the front, and you got Marcus Watson in the early 2000s McLaren liveried McLaren livery Chevrolet in the middle, and then you've got Andrew Dyson, sorry, at the back of this battle packet, looking to try and get the inside for the penultimate corner. He's got it. It should be able to make the position his for now here, but you can run out wide there and not lose too much time. And then what you do is you hang out wide. You've got the optimal line coming into the final corner. Will be slightly compromised entry, and no, tucks in behind. So that's position gained for Dyson, another one, which means he's up 10 now from 17th to 7th. And he's got Jake Slade only a couple of car lengths ahead of him. So he'll be looking to try and move forward and put another car between himself and Watson. As we cut back towards the front, and that is connects off, and you can just see Broad starting to edge away from him. That gap now up to 1.3 seconds. Jaden Green, half second further behind them in 4th place.
Jaden, he's a FIFO worker, so he doesn't get to sit and do laps and laps and laps in his sim. Like I think he does 2 and 1 from memory when I had lunch with him there a couple of months ago. And so for the pace he's got, considering he's not home like a lot of these guys on the sim every night, his outright pace is outstanding, to be honest.
Yeah. Something that would help him a little bit in these conditions, because he's used to just hopping in and driving to whatever car, whatever grip levels he's got, rather than driving, by rote, which a lot of people do. They learn the braking markers, they learn the feel of how much they need to turn in, and they sort of learn the track. But as soon as something changes, they struggle. He won't have that issue. He'll just be used to hopping in and just absolutely blitzing it. So not surprised to see him going strongly in this race in these conditions. And you know what, there's no substitute for just inherent skill, is there, in a race car.
And he's certainly got it. It's always the tougher cars where he ends up the front doing really, really well, so he's proven that right. Marcus Watson, he's having another cracking night tonight. He's up 4, so he started just outside the 10, and he's up to 8th at the moment and putting the wood to Jake Slade.
Yeah, he is, and you can see up ahead of them, Andrew Dyson. We caught up with him after he just passed Watson. He's now got past Slade and just put the move on Buchanan as well. So he's up 3 positions in 2 laps and is now up into 5th spot. But it does look like Slade's going to lose another position to Watson. It might even be at this corner. If he can just hug that inside line. No, there's no room there. Well defended from Slade. Slade, a really solid driver in this series, consistently in the top 10, so he's a real benchmark to try and overtake if you can. But Watson's not going to be able to do it here. You can see he's driving smart here. He's not going for a desperate move. He knows he's got pace. He's going to wait for the correct opportunity and make sure it's clean pass, because in these conditions it can very, very easily go wrong if you're not 100% confident in the grip that you've got. But it needs to be careful, because right behind them, Angus Lawford is bringing himself into this fight.
He's Lawford, so he's got the break over O'Shan at the moment. Colangelo got back in a battle with Rain Campbell there, actually. These two, they've been going at it for a number of laps now, so it gets a bit loose in the rear there for Colangelo. Rain's all over the back. Going to get the overlap down to the bus stop. It's going to go very close, I tell you. He might get it done down here. In the grass for Colangelo. That made it a bit easier for Campbell. Oh, who's that? No, that was a lap car.
It's Mike Ronker. Yeah,
Rodney Golan, I think, might have been, or Amos.
Yeah, so, doing an intelligent thing there and just getting out of the way. Such was the pace of the cars behind. And yeah, really some really good racing between the two of them. You can just see, as you called, Colangelo just getting wide at the top of the hill, getting on the grass, having to come off the throttle a little bit. Did really well to keep the car pointing in a straight line. Well, about as straight as we see these things go in these conditions.
These are in the rain anyway.
And Ryan Campbell gains the position. Yeah, they basically turn these cars into bishops, just constantly moving in diagonals and never pointing in the direction that they go. And as evidenced by Ryan Campbell spinning up his rear wheels on the exit of that corner, just getting a little bit gritty on the throttle pedal, applying a little bit more torque than the cars can handle, and spinning up the rear tyres in the process. And the thing is, what that does is it's going to hit up these rear tyres, and they're going to lose more grip, and they can do it more and more. Really wide, hopefully. And it looks like he has compensated enough and scribbled off enough speed as it goes up the hill, but that's going to drop him into the clutches of Lawford in the Pro 36 car, running that very distinctive pink, yellow and black livery. decides better against the move on the entry to chicane. He's going to try and carry more speed through, and succeeds to a small degree, but not nearly enough to launch a move into the long right-hander. And you'll see everybody come nice and wide out of this corner because there's no track limits at play. So Lawford decides to stick to the inside, and it doesn't work out for him. We are quickly approaching halfway in this race. We're about 16 minutes into the 40-minute race, and there will be a single compulsory pit stop, as it is a standard race in the supercars tonight.
Glen might be having a bit of a rough night tonight. He's just showing up on my radar with 4 incidents, so he might be carrying damage, I think, from something earlier. He's trying to sneak back to the pits out of everybody's way.
Yeah, he's not the only one having a rough night. Currently, everyone from 29th down to 42nd either did not start the race or is over a lap or more down on our leaders. So we've already had Latta, Brownlee, Kimo and Dial all retire. Tristan Koch looks like he may have retired as well. He's in pit lane currently and has been in there for a little while. And then we've got Azapati, Nicole King and Rogers all a lap down. So very much not the night for a bunch of these drivers. Well, that's okay. They'll come back next week stronger, and hopefully with dry conditions where they might feel a little bit more comfortable. But we've had fantastic racing up towards the front in that top 10, particularly towards the back of the top 10. The top 3, much as they have been for most of the race, with Blacklock ahead of Broad, ahead of Kazestov, with Green a really solid 4th. They've pulled 5 seconds down to 5th. Andrew Dyson, who's been the man carving through the top 10. It'll be interesting to see where he finishes up in about 23 minutes time. He might make a play for the podium positions, although he's going to have to get a move on if he is going to do that. And then we've got Buchanan leading the back of the top 10, who are all in one big battle pack.
At the moment, Sam Blacklock up the front. Here he is here in his OBDM paint. I'm pretty sure that's right. He's currently 5.9 seconds to the good of his teammate Tyson Broad. So he's having a cracking night in the rain. He's got it sorted, even though he didn't get pole. I think from memory, Kuznetsov got it by, was it 2.5 tenths? He's once the drop of the green happened, Sam's just showing the way. Tyson, he's now 1.5 seconds to the good of Rick, who's still in that battle, up 1.5 seconds back to Jaden Green. So these 4 guys, along with Andrew Dyson, who obviously have the best of qualifying and is fighting his way back, being the class of the field tonight. And generally in anything that you see him in during the week, these guys are always up the front. So it's it's a good night, especially in the rain, to stamp your authority on a championship like Sam has, really leading it.
Yeah, and of course he took home the championship at a canter last season, and he's looking to do it again. He's at this rate is going to be building the kind of dynasty that's usually reserved for the likes of Manny Dench in the GSRC. It'll be good to get the 2 of them squaring off in something at some point. But yeah, he's absolutely nailing it out there. Although he has lost about a second to Tyson Broad over the last couple of laps. So that is something to just keep a little bit of an eye on. I do wonder if he is just reducing the risk level, getting the gap up to 5 seconds, and then just going to manage it from here. As we watch Simon Chadwick in 14th spot, he's got Craig Bond for close company. Now we cut down to Adam Lavis, who is alongside Nathan Michael heading into the bootleg. And Nathan Michael's, how did he get that through? I thought for sure he was carrying too much speed. He absolutely power slided that car through there, and has managed to hold on to the position. Great
car control. And Ben's just said Rain's up to his 13th set of pedals in the car tonight. So yeah, he's running 10th. If he doesn't have any muscle memory with the pedals he's currently running, he's not doing such a bad job.
Feels atrocious when you're using pedals you're not used to. Feels like you're wearing somebody else's shoes.
Oh, absolutely. I must admit, I've been a bit of a victim of that over the years, of changing pedals and this and that and the other. I got a long list of pedals as well, but me personally, I had a set of Ultimate Pluses for a number of years and sold those on, and I did go to an upgrade and didn't like them. I actually sold them and I've gone back to the Ultimate Pluses again. So it hasn't made me any faster, but it's just what you're more comfortable with, I guess.
Yeah. I think once you get out of like the Logitech pedals, where you're using a potentiometer and you get load cell, I think once you're in load cell, the gains are, they're much reduced. That big step from potentiometer to load cell is the main one for lap time, and then after that you're looking in the margins, I think, for a lot of it. Although I would love to try at some point some hydraulic pedals just to see if they make a distinct difference or not, because at the moment I'm just running the Logitech V3s, and that's all I've ever run ever since my Logitech G25 that got me started.
I started there as well. G27, I think, is my first set. But
oh yeah, nice.
I ran the hydraulic, the MPPC pedals a number of years ago. They were actually like top sweep pedals. I had those and nothing but dramas with them, with oil leaks and whatnot. We're getting brake fluid under the rig all the time, and so I went from those to a set of Simworks and didn't like the pneumatic pedals and went from those, and ended up going back to load cell stuff. Jackson's he's throwing the wood. There he goes. He didn't connect up the brake pedal. You only need a throttle though, right? Who needs brakes?
Not connecting the brake seems like quite the oversight. The oversight.
Yeah, definitely.
Good for you though, mate. Good for you. It's so easy to just forget something, even if it is important. Frequently are the times where my partner sends me off to the shops, and then I come home and I'm missing one or two items.
Watson.
Can relate. As Watson becomes the first to take his mandatory pit stop out of those in the leaders. This is really interesting because he was having a decent race, caught up in that battle pack from 6th down to 10th. And he's looking to try and get a jump on those around him. We saw him in really close proximity to Slade, who actually set the fastest lap, his fastest lap on the last lap, and I think it's actually the fastest lap of the race. So Slade's found some pace out of absolutely nowhere, and is now pressuring Buchanan ahead of him.
And Ryan Campbell, he was only a 10th off that lap time as well. Blacklock did a 16.72. 16.75 for 17 flat, 16.9 for green, 16.67 for play. Campbell was 7.7, and there your 16 second runner. So I would suggest that the track is probably drying out a little bit now. The moisture content will be coming down. Now, if I was in here in good like these guys, which I ain't and I'm not, I would stretch this tyre and fuel load out as long as I can, because you've got to look at the point at which there could possibly be a changeover between the wet tyre and the dry tyre as to being the ideal tyre to be on for the end of the race, if it's going to dry that much. I don't know that it's actually going to, as well. Cannon's in bits at the moment, I think. No, he's not.
Yeah.
No, Nick. Someone can't work out who it is.
I think you're right to call out the looking for that changeover point. I think now anyone that was to go for dries would be on the wrong side of the brave stupid divide, because it's far too wet out there still. But give it a few more laps and maybe it's starting to look at it. But given the size of those rooster tails still, I mean, they have come down since the start of the race, but I'd be surprised if within the next sort of 10 minutes we're going to get to dry conditions.
Well, this will show
you're
you
right to call it out, because it can change quickly.
It can change very quickly. Yeah. I'm not sure what the... Oh, well, actually, we can have a look. Temperature. So the on track...
Kuznetsov's just put in an absolute... Sorry to cut you off there, but Kuznetsov's just put on a cracking lap of 15.7. So he's took a second out of Slade's best time, and he's taken over a half second from Broad, and in almost 4 attempts. from Blacklock and he's now right behind Tyson Broad. So it's certainly that track is drying up, and I think what we might be seeing is some drivers just immediately taking advantage of that drying track, and that's why we're seeing that best lap jump around a bit, and others taking a lap more to get used to those improved conditions. And now, apologies, continue making your point, Joe.
No, don't have to apologise to me. Yeah, look, it's a 6-1 half dozen the other. Like, we've seen the guys who started on the wet tyre, just bad move. Like, there was just no grip. Blacklock, no, he's going around for another lap. So, but like you said, like, it's only 19 degrees on track at the moment. So whether or not that's warm enough where it'll allow the track to really dry out is probably going to be the telling factor. I don't think it's probably warm enough where the track will dry by probably the last couple of laps is where you're going to see that overlap point, right? It's before it's going to be dry enough. So at the moment now, Blacklock has got the pace. He's got a 15.9, 15.5 by Kuznetsov. So the times are tumbling down now. But on a dry track, what are we doing around here normally? We're doing 102, 103. So you're still a long way away from qualifying pace at the moment.
You are, and can we cut to second and third, because there's a big battle going on between the two of them. In fact, we might need a replay, because I think Kuznetsov momentarily got past Tyson Broad and then registered an off track. So I do think there might have been an overtaking maneuver that has gone wrong, and it's put Jacob Quinn. And here we go, let's have a look at it. So this is Broad leading Kuznetsov. So Kuznetsov's got a bit of a run coming up the top of the hill. Pulls to the inside at the bootleg, cuts the chicane, and there's contact.
Oh, he just grabbed the curb there. Like, it wasn't what I would call ambitious. I think the move was on. He just caught that big bump on the curb on the inside as he was doing it.
I don't think he did anything. I'm actually, for once, not going to pass judgment on that. I'll wait to see what race control says, because to me, Kuznetsov looks like he's got the inside line. He takes the curb, which is normal for there, and he's pointing directly at the apex for the next curb, and certainly doesn't leave Broad space to get up along the inside. But then it all depends on how much Broad is entitled to the space, and whether, because I can imagine Kuznetsov, Broad was quite out wide. I imagine it probably looked like he was going to fit in behind him. So I don't even know if it might not even have been, deliberately not giving space. I think he might have thought that, he's got the mid-most done, Broad's going to pop in behind. So that's very, very tight, and that's drivers on different laps as well, and they need to make sure they're not alongside each other as they exit, and the cars become real again. And they did not do that, and it's immediately pitched green into the barrier, which is a real shame, because he was running really strong in effectively fourth place, and he's been pitched barrier. It looks like I don't see any obvious damage, so he might have got away with it from a damage perspective, but it has cost him a lot of time, and certainly he's got damage all right.
Onto it, Greeny.
That was sketchier than a night out on Hindley Street for those that are Adelaide based. But he's managed to get through the night unscathed. You can see there is damage on that front left corner. I do wonder how much of that was damage and how much of that was just coming out on fresh tires and not being aware of exactly how the car was going to react. But let's have a look at this again.
This thing keeps moving on me. This is a crash. It comes up.
No. Yeah, that was tires then. That's almost certainly means it was tires for Jaden Green. Cold tires just have not got any grip on this surface. A lot more of the top 10 pitting now, so almost everybody will have pit at the end of this lap. Greg Heaney yet to come into the pits, but he might not have even got to pit lane yet. So I suspect this will be the end of the line for everybody with 10 minutes to go, and everybody surely coming out on. No, we got a mixture of slicks and wets. So this is really interesting, because Blacklock in the lead, if that graphic is correct, is on the dry tires, and Kuznetsov is on the wets.
Whoa, that certainly looks like a dry tyre for Blacklock to me. Wow.
And Kuznetsov is ahead of Broad. And remember, we saw that move go wrong, so Kuznetsov was not behind Broad as they pitted. So that's happened afterwards. So I do think at this point, the wet tyres are still the correct tyres to be on. And you look at the interval from him to Blacklock. He is absolutely chewing down. This race is on. This race is on. Because Netsov's absolutely flying on the wet tyre. Blacklock's trying to get a handle on his dries. But where is that crossover point? Because right there, you look at that car, throughout that corner, there was no rooster tails coming off it. He can be gentle on the throttle, but those on the wet's going to be gentle on the throttle. Okay, so last lap, Blacklock was faster. So Blacklock does seem to be on the correct tyre. So it must have been right on the cutoff. And we've basically just witnessed live the cutoff from when dries are faster than wets. But dries are definitely going to be sketchy in the wets at this point. So he needs to keep it clean, but Blacklock's got the skill.
13.25 for Blacklock and a 13.7. Oh.
Yeah, and I can confirm... sorry, just to address that comment from Daniel.
Yeah, look, sorry, Dan. I've got a technical issue on my end with OBS. I keep dumping a lot of frames, mate, and I thought I've got a new modem this week, and we thought we were on top of it until we went live. As soon as I went live, I am having trouble with my OBS, so it is something that I'll have to get on top of. So apologies, guys. My CPU usage is only at like 12%, yet I'm dropping 60% of frames. So really sorry for that.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the lap times as they come in, Blacklock and Kuznetsov even on the last lap. There is effectively no difference between the wets and the dries right now, except the dries are a trickier tyre. Blacklock is making it work, but others have had an incident. Chadwick and Campbell have just gone flying down the order, so there's been some sort of incident between the two of them, and I think they've both got a tow because they're suddenly in pit lane. Either that or they followed each other in after an incident in the penultimate corner. Andrew Dyson is registering as off track as well there, so he's had an incident and he's just fallen below Jake Slade, and it is the drivers on the dry tyres that are having these incidents. Right now, it is Blacklock making the difference on Kuznetsov. He is absolutely killing out there on those dries. As we watch what happens to Greg Heaney, yeah, gets it wrong through the bootleg. And because there's no grip, because it's wet, he slides into the fence. Knocks off his rear bumper.
I don't work out what happened to Rain.
Tim sat in pit lane. I believe these are live pictures.
Back on track. Okay. Oh, this might have been contact. Oh yeah, it was. Oh yeah. No, with Dyson, was it?
Not sure, but whoever it was, Campbell getting it all wrong on the inside, being too aggressive, and making contact.
But Dyson might have gone off on his own. Whoa!
Oh yeah, too much foot on the curb. Has he got away with that?
I think he might have, but they're definitely
got away with that.
Delangelo's had an off track of their own as well.
So that was the incident with Campbell. So Colangelo, nothing you could do there. No. Just an absolute innocent party. Yeah, Campbell came flying up the inside, just completely misjudged the braking, and that was the result of a pretty large T-bone. There's a look at what happened to Slady. So is he just going to boot it up? No, this is back to live photos, and he's got Marcus Watson bearing down upon him, like that feeling when you realise that you've forgotten that you had work today.
Yeah. So for our broadcast, I'm actually recording the broadcast as well as streaming, so we can actually replace the broadcast with a clean version after the fact.
Excellent. That's good. As we watch Slade about to lose position to Watson. Watson got up the inside as they're heading towards the bottom of the hill.
Oh, Dyson's had another one. He's had a rough night.
He shouldn't do the wall. He was having a really strong night, and then that's not ideal. Carries too much curb. Car gets unsettled. Is he kept out of the wall? Yeah, just gone for a lovely 720 degree spin. gets back going, loses a few positions, but keeps his car in one piece, which is the big ask in that scenario.
Let's just hope he's wearing his brown pants, but no one having a moment. Blacklock at the moment, 14.2 seconds now to the good of Rick Kuznetsov. So this is a bit of a driving clinic tonight by Mr. Blacklock.
He's over a second faster than anybody else on track right now.
Yeah, 12.52 on the last lap, 13.9 for Kuznetsov. So the dry tyre, and you can even see the dry line is appearing right underneath. Adam Maverick just got out of shape right in front of the leader. Kurt Normanson's off out of the way. What happened there with Mav and Normanson?
He's now lapped everybody up to 15th, which is very impressive considering it's a 42 car field. So this is Alan Lavis trying to go for a move up the inside, doesn't quite get it.
They had their incidences all on their own. They never actually touched.
They never touched, but I don't think Normanson had any room to make the corner because Adam Lavis ran deep. So I think Normanson took the escape road, was forced to the escape road, saw the writing on the wall early and avoided contact, and Adam Lavis just carried too much speed in on too narrow a line and got it wrong, which is rare to see from Adam. Making a mistake in a wheel-to-wheel battle is usually very, very clean, so that certainly wouldn't have been conditions when one of the cleanest races in the club is getting it wrong. And here we're watching Kuznetsov, and he's trying to get past back markers. That is not Blacklock ahead, that is a back marker, and Kuznetsov trying to find the way through, and he gets through.
The next on his hit list is Marcus Hankey, who's up ahead there in 18th at the moment. That's in front of Blacklock, sorry. As for battles at the moment, so Jake Slade, Angus Lawford, half a second gap for these guys. Ocean and Craig Bond, they're 4/10 apart. Dyson and Mitch Wood, half a second in that battle, and Trent Naylor and Ashley Dodgson, 8/10. So they're your closest battles on track at the moment.
And Dyson, on the last lap, did a 12.4. His best is a 12 flat. He is currently lapping at the same speed as Blacklock, and he has the fastest lap of the race. So, in these conditions, Andrew Dyson is absolutely flying. He's got 6 seconds to Snedden, which I think is going to be a big ask, but he is lapping 2.5 seconds a lap faster at the moment, so he's only just going to run out of time for getting to Snedden, but it just shows the pace he had. He had those couple of incidents, dropped him out of the top 10, and he'll be ruining what could have been in this race. Another battle to look out for is we've well and truly reached the dry tyre cut-off, and now the wets are really starting to suffer. Everybody on wet tyres on the last lap was significantly slower than those on the dries, and this is the first or second lap that has been true. So right now, that 5-second lead that Kuznetsov had to Broad has been absolutely demolished, and we are going to be watching a live fight for second place before the end of this one, because Broad is bearing down on him like a hammer above a nail.
Jeez, that's a hell of a gap. I was trying to find him from Barney's position. He's at 22 seconds ahead. That's,
Blacklock
that's a thumping.
He's very, very fast. And yeah, 2 seconds Broad was faster than Kuznetsov on the last lap. He's only got 1 lap to try and hold off, I imagine, but it's going to be 1 lap too many because Tyson Broad has so much extra pace that I'd be surprised if Rick is able to offer anything more than a token defense.
I think we might have 2 to go. I don't think this one's the white, so he might have a lap and a bit to do.
Which could hurt some people on fuel, because I doubt people would have seen the pace holding up so much that we've got an extra lap in. So that's going to be really interesting to watch when Blacklock crosses the line. I think you might be right, because Blacklock didn't factor in just how far ahead Blacklock is than these two.
24 seconds now, so he's another 2 seconds out. Oh, because
when you figure that's almost half a lap.
Yeah.
So there we go. We've reached the 40 minutes. And Blacklock's already crossed the line. And we do not have a checkered flag. So we're very much now going on to the final lap of this race. I would assume.
Yeah, it's white flag lap, should be. It's a bit of a drubbing, this one. Oh, keep it off them curbs, Sam. Don't throw it away on this lap, mate.
Oh, he's been on those curbs every time. He has a bit of a twitch, but he knows how to handle them. He predicts how it's going to affect the car, and he just handles it. And that gap, Kuznetsov and Broad, Kuznetsov so far still holding him off. The gap's been below 2/10 for quite a while now, but
bit of a rub.
Bit of a rub, bit of a touch. Not sure that was consensual, so he's gonna have to be careful. Only consensual touching, please, Broad. As we've got.
Well, what we do have to do is catch a winner.
Oh, you're better than the FIA. So we've got Sam Blockler crossing the line, 27 seconds ahead. We're going to have to wait an eternity to see who finishes this one in second. Will the master of defense, Kuznetsov, hold off Broad? He's got one more corner to try and affect the overtake. He's got a good run out of that corner, though. They're going to be side by side in the final corner. No, they can't hold on. Tyson Broad goes much deeper on the brakes in the final corner, goes around the outside, takes the position from Kuznetsov.
Rick's out of fuel.
Oh, no. No, he's going to fall. Oh, is he going to fall even further? Because those are my lap cars. It's still third. Makes it in third spot. 8 seconds behind Broad. So that is what happened coming out of the penultimate corner. He realized he wasn't going to make the end and just absolutely feathered the throttle to make sure he crossed the line in third spot. Thankfully for him, they had a massive gap to Lawford. He finishes only 5 seconds behind Kuznetsov in the end, with Buchanan in 5th, Watson in 6th, and we've just watched Colangelo and Kirby cross the line in 7th and 8th. Mulder will take 9th. Craig Bond.
Bond out of fuel.
Finishes in 10th. Finishes in 10th.
Chadwick just misses out. Mitch Wood. Wow, what a great finish. So if we go back, see what I can find. Yeah. Okay. Trying to find that last little. Can't find it.
Now, whilst Joe tries to find some footage of that the last lap battle between Broad and Kuznetsov, let's have a chat to Kurt Nomsen, who was the first to join us in the post-race chats. 15th spot, Kurt, after starting in 25th. How tricky was it out there?
Oh man, it was absolutely awful.
But did you have fun?
I had a great time sliding the car sideways, but yeah, it was absolutely awful.
So just talk us through those 10 positions that you've gained. How many of them were on track overtakes, and if so, how many of them were sketchy as hell?
There was a few, but it was a bit awkward. I didn't shift into first at the start, so my whole start procedure was thrown out, and yeah, it was a bit of a downhill battle from there. Surprised I even went up 10, to be completely honest with you.
Well, it's always nice when you finish higher up than you thought you had. That's always a nice surprise. That first corner, how hard was it to judge the braking zone and judge how much grip you had? Because we saw quite a few drivers, as you can see on the stream there, getting unstuck.
It was pretty difficult, especially with the spray. Like, I don't think Sam and Tyson would have had the same issue, but oh my god, at the back there, I couldn't see where the corner was for a good few seconds, so it was definitely a lot more difficult to judge the braking zone than I initially anticipated.
I mean, you can see on screen there just how little visibility you've got running in traffic. And how much did that improve throughout the race? And were you one of the ones that went on to dryers at the end, or did you stay on the wets?
I went to dries. I think it was the right call. Jake said he went to wets and he struggled near the end because he burnt his tyres up. So the visibility got a hell of a lot better near the end when the dry line formed, because there was just a little bit of spray. There wasn't a massive big plume of spray like there was at the start of the race, so it was pretty good by the end of the race.
Yeah, that's good to hear. And how are you feeling 2 rounds in? Have you got a feeling for what your goal is across the season?
I'm just happy to finish inside the top 20 each race. This field has just gotten absolutely stacked this season. So if I could finish inside the top 20 every race, I'll be pretty happy with that result, considering my pace is not as far up as I would have liked to be. Still got a lot of work to go with these supercars.
Finish top 20 of this race, so long may that continue. And thank you very much for joining us in the commentary booth once again.
Thank you.
I will head on over now to the second man in the booth, which was Tyson Broad, who also finished a dramatic second on track after overtaking Rick in the final corner as Rick ran out of fuel. How intense was that battle between the two of you for the entirety of that race?
Yeah, it was quite intense. Initially, obviously, just trying to get by because I had more pace in the wet. At the beginning, and then yeah, after that it sort of calmed down where I gapped him for a bit, but then towards the end of that wet stint, he started to close me down quite hard, and yeah, ended up passing me before we ended up going on dry. So that was a little bit disappointing that couldn't keep him behind. And then yeah, obviously I thought he'd gone and I'd have to settle for third, but then he first started getting caught up with lap traffic and then obviously was running low on fuel, so yeah, it was really good.
He was also on the wets for that final stint.
Oh, I didn't even know, so yeah.
Which is why he pulled away from you so much at the start of the stint, because I think it was, I mean, I'd say for most people, I think the wets were still slightly faster at that point. I think Sam was the exception to the rule there. So they were matching sort of each other for quite a while in that final stint. They were doing very even lap times. And then right towards the end, Rick's lap times fell off the cliff. Probably a mixture of tyres and fuel, which is part of why you caught him up so much towards the end and were able to catch, what was it, 6 seconds in like 2 laps?
Yeah, just looking back now, I did try and pass around the outside of the carousel, which didn't work because there was only one line. But oh well, here it goes. And yeah, just in the end, just
decided to do.
Yeah, well, and it's going to look even better. Joe's doing a recording as well as putting it out live. So what we're going to do is basically override the live feed with that recording to hopefully get rid of some of the splitting issues that we had for the recording. So yeah, Joe jumping in at the last minute and doing a fantastic job, because we almost didn't have a broadcast tonight. And so yeah, your teammates really running the span of the grid. And it sounds like a few of them having strong nights, which is really good to hear. Really good to hear.
Yeah, I think at one point, when I looked at the Discord channel before the race got going, I'm like, I think we're actually almost going to be on par with the number of Orbit drop bear cars on the grid tonight, because we had 6 of us on the grid tonight, so it was good to see. Yeah.
Is that the goal, to win on numbers? To beat Orbit drop bear at numbers?
At one point we were, and then they got more guys in to drive for them within the GSRC, and obviously more cars on the grid. And then I've had a couple of my guys go over there, so then I've lost some. They've gained a few, but look, it is what it is. And I mean, look, I'd like to be have one of the largest teams on the grid, but obviously you've got to then make sure you can perform well as well
and manage it.
And yeah, manage it, and the amount of livery work that I do for the guys and stuff like that is hard enough with the number of cars that we've got at the moment, let alone having to do extras if I have to. But yeah, no, it was a good night from the guys, and we'll move on to next week. I'm just hoping the wet to dry conditions gave you guys a good show.
They certainly did. They certainly did. Although if you go watch the broadcast, you can hear me say quite clearly as we're doing the intro, looks like it's dry weather here, not a cloud. Not expecting any wet rain, so it should be an easier one for the drivers.
Famous
last words.
On the next
Yeah.
On the next one, Liam, we'll make sure that it's wet, but we'll make sure that there is no clouds in the sky for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent. Thank you. Yeah, just make my life really hard. That's much appreciated. I mean, look, mistakes are a part of a broadcast, part and parcel of a broadcast with me on comms. It's just part of the charm, right?
Oh, of course.
Of course. Fantastic to hear that you guys had a good race and had really strong numbers. Fingers crossed that continues throughout the season, and please do come and talk to us again next week.
Yeah, sure, no worries.
Awesome. And of course, we're only able to. And this is what I've got coming up for the rest of the week. So tomorrow night we've got the Wings and Slicks from the Hockenheim Ring, and that is sprint racing, which should be heaps of fun, really good track, and really well suited to the Super Formula Lights. And that's followed by Porsche Cup at Road Atlanta. Road Atlanta is an absolutely incredible track, and that's going to be a really tricky test for those drivers. That section, first sector.
Road Atlanta and the Porsche, whether it's raining, whether it's dry, it doesn't matter. They're fantastic combination.
Yeah, it is a fantastic combination. So do watch out for that broadcast tomorrow. Then we have another broadcast on Friday night. That's back with Joe once again. And that is the Formula Fords from Akiyama. And then the IndyCar Series live from Akiyama in a 65-minute race. I'm quite keen for that one. That should be a really good race. I suspect that'll be a really good car and track combination. And then on the weekend, as always, on Saturday, we've got Mountain Men with a car to be announced. Then next week, we'll be kicking off with the GT4s and the GT3s on Monday from Knock Hill and Watkins Glen, respectively. That's, again, two awesome car track combinations there on Monday night. Then on Tuesday, no broadcast, but if you are one of our racers, you can get involved in the Downforce Legends at Silverstone, followed by the TCR and Knock Hill, which I hear has had absolutely fantastic numbers.
And then again, next Wednesday night, the Supercars, they will be back here at Barber Motorsports Park, following Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, or as it's better known as Motorsport, for the ARCA Series. That 30-lap heads-up race starting at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. And so that's your Wednesday night next week. Now, obviously, we missed the broadcast early. Bit of a change. Thoughts go out to Dan and his family. So, unfortunately, he couldn't make it. He's got more pressing things. So, thoughts with Dan, and whatever he needs to do, he needs to do. So, he has our full support. So, that's what happened there. That's all anybody needs to know. But so that was, whilst it was hasty, I will probably upload a better quality version of this broadcast for anybody who wants to go back. I might even get it going very shortly to replace it with a better later.
Yeah, fantastic. And thank you very much for jumping in at the last minute, Joe. I'm sure you had other plans for the night that involved more racing for you, but really glad that you were able to hop out and bring us the Supercars live. I'm sure it's much appreciated by everybody that was racing tonight and their friends and family.
There's no way I wanted to do that combination in the rain. Are you kidding me?
Like, oh, what a great excuse for me to avoid it.
Yeah, I'll just go and broadcast it. That's fine. I'll watch everybody else crash. Then
Yeah.
Actually, it was great. You know, look, I gotta say, I haven't caught up. I haven't done a lot of V8 racing since the car came out. I sort of haven't got my head around it yet. But to see Sam Blacklock just put on an absolute clinic like that, it's it makes me not want to drive it again. When you got freaks like that get out there and just make, like Tyson Broad, Kuznetsov, Lawson, Marcus Watson, Calanzo, these guys, they're not slow. And he goes and wins it by nearly 30 seconds. Just superhuman effort. So, great run by Blacklock, Broad and Kuznetsov to round out the three with no fuel.
Yeah, Blacklock comes across really nice whenever we talk to him as well. Absolutely sickening. Could have at least been an arsehole so that we could root against him. Anyway.
That's right. So, and Nathan's put the question up there, why are they running so far off at turn 1? Because NASCAR, because iRacing let them do it. Unfortunately, we can't put racing limits in during the server. We actually do have rules within our club. If they go outside of, so right there, you can see that yellow line, that denotes the racing surface for our club. Now, if iRacing says they can go outside those lines, they're free to go outside those lines. But if somebody gets overlap on you, you have an incident coming back on the racing surface, you are deemed at fault because you're off track. That is how our rules are written in the GSRC, so it's something that drivers have to be aware of. So just to clear that one up for him, Liam.
Yeah, it's not an official off track, but you are off the track as far as the rules go.
Absolutely. So right there, so as you see, Greg's off track. Where he comes on here, he gets bullied and guys actually don't give him room to come on. Bad luck to him. That's just how the rules work. So,
Yeah.
but
Absolutely.
with that, I reckon we could probably wrap this one up if you like, Liam.
We certainly can, but first of all, before we do wrap it up, we've got to thank all of the club sponsors for allowing us to put us on this broadcast, for allowing us to bring you live race control. We had an absolutely stacked race control tonight, which is really incredible to see. Really thankful to all those guys who give up their time that they could be racing to come and make sure that we can improve the driving standards throughout the club instead. And our club sponsors are led by Orbic Australia, Bowen's the Builder's Choice,
GSRC.inc, Flash Graphics, Trophi.AI, which is obviously the main sponsor for tonight's race, and Pure Tasmanian Spray non-alcoholic ciders.
because I don't think we're allowed to promote alcoholic ciders on YouTube.
No,
anyway, thank you.
You can certainly
Thank
go
you
to their
very
website and have a look around. And I implore you guys to support those that support us.
Yes, please do, please do. And the best way to support us, of course, is by supporting our sponsors, by getting involved on the merch store, in buying some of our merchandise, or by putting your hand up to become a volunteer and helping us out so that we can have more race control, we can have more commentators, we can have more people able to do the production, or we can have more people able to help with the administration of the club, because a lot of work goes into running a club like this, and a lot of people give up a lot of their time so that you guys can all go racing every night of the week except for a Sunday. And with that, I'd like to thank you very, very much for watching. It's been a pleasure bringing you the Trophi.AI Supercars, and we will be back for round 3 in a week's time.